Hi guys, here's this week's important stuff in Westfield. This special issue will focus exclusively on the One Westfield Place financials. How will the redevelopment project be phased in? Why is Westfield partnering with a private developer? Is that really necessary? What is a pilot or payment in lieu of taxes, and who will that really benefit, the developer or Westfield? Who will pay for the $54.2 million in public improvements? Hi, I'm Rich Hopen. I'm the creator of the weekly newsletter, Important Stuff in Westfield, town real estate and business news that matters. I write the weekly newsletter, I make YouTube videos and have a podcast, and I'm a real estate broker with Compass in New Jersey, focusing on Westfield. But before I jump into this week's news, if you could do me a huge favor, hit the like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel and stay up to date on the important stuff in Westfield. On September 19th, the town held the first part of a live Facebook discussion on the One Westfield Place financials. Mayor Brindle was joined by Councilwoman Linda Habgood, chair of the Town Council Finance Policy Committee, Robert Powell, partner of Nassau Capital Advisors and an expert in redevelopment finance, Steve Milinak, a partner in Greenbaum Law, a legal counsel, and Matt Jessup, partner in McManum, Scotland, and Bauman. He's a bond counsel. Steve Milinak kicked off the meeting with an overview of the project phases. The West Zone encompasses the Lord and Taylor vacant properties totaling 7.3 acres, and that'll include 100,000 square feet of office in the Lord and Taylor building, 2 residential buildings with 138 age-restricted apartments, 16 townhomes for the 55 and plus, 13,000 square feet of street front retail, and 1 residential building at North and Clark. In the North Zone, that's at the corner of North and Central, and that stands on 0.22 acres. It'll include 1 residential building of 35 market rate loft style apartments and 2,110,000 square feet of retail and a public parking garage with 300 spaces. The South Zone is on a 2-acre portion of the municipal parking lot on South Avenue, and there will be 2 mass timber office buildings totaling 210,000 square feet and 12,000 square feet of retail and a public parking garage with 200 spaces. Within the scope of One Westfield Place, there will also be $54.2 million of planned public improvements. This includes large public pedestrian areas on Quimby Street and by the train station on the north and south side. On the north side, it's known as the North Avenue Town Square, and then there's the South Avenue Town Green on the south side. There's going to be 2 parking garages, and there'll be upgrades to the traffic systems, lots of improvements for pedestrian safety. So why is Westfield partnering with a private developer? Is that really necessary? Well, Milinek highlighted that a developer could come into Westfield and develop some pieces of the master plan, but it would not be possible to complete all aspects of the development plan without a pilot. So pilot is an acronym for payment in lieu of taxes. And this is essentially a state law that enables municipalities to negotiate and execute agreements with developers when certain criteria are met. Milinak said this is, quote, a powerful tool used as a financial incentive to attract private investment in an area of need of redevelopment in a manner established by the municipality in a redevelopment plan that otherwise would not be financially viable, end quote. The agreement will include the term of the pilot, which is usually 30 years, and an annual service charge, which is paid instead of the taxes. The annual service charge is a percentage of the project's gross revenue. Milinak underscored gross revenue is exactly that. It's top-line revenue, and includes every cent of revenue. So everything is counted. And under New Jersey law, the annual service charge, which is the pilot, must be at least 10% of the revenue. Also, to ensure that the developer, which is HBC Streetworks, is paying the proper amount, they have to have an independent annual audit conducted by an accounting firm, and that audit is sent to the town and shared with its financial experts. 5% of the annual service charge payment will go to Union County, and 95% will go to the town. Also, similar to a residence property tax, the Streetworks property tax is bifurcated into tax on the land and tax on the property improvements. So the land tax will be paid just like all the land taxes, where a portion goes to Union County, a portion goes to Westfield, and then a portion goes to the school district. And keep in mind that these are taxes on parking lots currently owned by the town, but will be then sold to the developer. So the developer is going to have to pay taxes. So it's a brand new source of tax revenue. Robert Powell advised Westfield on the financial aspects of the project to determine its feasibility. Powell examined the development costs, the projected rents for each property type, estimated operating costs, funding sources, and projected increases in rental income and operating expenses over time. And the numbers were used to calculate the developer's projected return if they make the expected equity investment. Powell said the return has to be at least 10 to 11% to be competitive. If there was not a pilot and the developer had to pay full taxes, the project would generate a return on equity in the mid-single digits. According to Powell, this would not be adequate in today's capital markets to justify a projected equity investment in excess of $150 million. The town negotiated an agreement that struck a balance between the maximum financial benefit to the town and the minimum financial viability for the developer. Powell said the agreement will generate an internal rate of return on equity in the low double digits, and this also factors in construction costs and lease-up risks. Pilot revenues will increase over time as the project is built and leased. For example, in year 5, which would be 2032, the revenues are projected to be about $5 million, and this is going to ramp up to about $11 million in 2056, the end of this 30-year period. The total pilot revenue is projected to be $214 million. So who's going to pay for the $54.2 million in public improvements? Matt Jessup explained the necessity of Westfield issuing bonds and how the developer will pay the debt service of the bond. The $54.2 million of public improvements are on land owned by the town. Initially, the improvements will be funded by the developer and 3 redevelopment area bonds. The first bond is $16.5 million for the north parking garage, so that's the one at the corner of North and Central. $13 million for the south parking garage, and $16.5 million for other public improvements. Streetworks will provide $8 million to the town early in the project for improvements such as the North Avenue Town Square. Jessup explained that the bonds will be issued over time as Streetworks development reaches certain milestones. Here is how the project is going to be staged. So first you have the construction in the west zone, and when that meets a certain milestone, then the bond will be issued for the north parking garage. On the south side, the south zone construction will begin only after 50% of the office building is leased. So there'll be monies coming in, and then the developer will start the construction. At that point, once there's that lease commitment and construction begins, the bond will be issued for the parking garage on the south side. Once that reaches a certain milestone, that construction, then the public improvement bond will be issued. Jessup added, quote, "The staging ensures that we don't get ahead of project revenues and overissue bonds relative to Streetworks build-out and completion of the redevelopment project," end quote. Also, the town has what's called a pilot sufficiency test, which monitors the revenues to ensure that 80% of the revenue is available to pay the debt service for the bonds that have been issued. Westfield will never issue more in bonds than the project can support. The town also has a taxing tool to ensure the developer pays the pilot each year. Since the developer is going to own the land, they're going to be subject to the town issuing a special assessment if the developer doesn't pay what is owed under the agreement. So if they don't make their pilot payment, the town will go ahead and issue a special assessment. And that'll give Westfield a first lien position on the property, putting the town in front of all the other lien holders like equity investors and construction lenders. And no developer wants a local government entity to assume a superior lien position to theirs. So this is a really powerful weapon that Westfield can deploy that will likely ensure pilot payments. So that's it for my summary of the financial aspects of this project. If you want to see the live Facebook presentation, go to the Westfield Facebook group. If you want to see an abridged version of the 2-hour Facebook presentation, check out the issue in my newsletter. To get that, just contact me. My contact information is below. And if you would like to subscribe to my newsletter, which is going to be coming out every week, we're in week 4 of this, hit the link in the description below. If there's anyone you know who would enjoy this video or the newsletter, please share this video with them. And if you have any questions about real estate, reach out to me. So that's it. I'll see you next time.